Hello, and welcome to The Most Significant Bit, a podcast that explores the connections between engineering, technology, humanities, and the arts. I'm Bradley Martini, and today we will discuss self-cleaning surfaces inspired by the naturally hydrophobic self-cleaning surface of the lotus leaf. So, water repellent and self-cleaning surfaces. They are a miraculous feat of engineering, and they're used everywhere in society today. However, most people probably don't know that this technology was inspired by nature, the lotus leaf to be exact. When researchers examined the lotus leaf, they noticed how it managed to stay perfectly clean and how water would bead up and roll off instead of accumulating. Of course, when taking a closer look, they were able to see that the leaf had a waxy texture that caused the water to bead up. But then they looked deeper, and when they looked deeper, they could see that the surface was also covered in microscopic bumps. Now, this really interesting combination leads to the dirt and water molecules having a really limited contact area, which means they're going to have trouble sticking. So, when the water beads up and rolls off, it takes the dirt with it. Now, a few companies have tried to replicate this phenomenon with new technologies. One, Nanotex, uses nanoscopic silica or polymer particles on clothing fibers and other things to make them more water resistant. Now, this is similar to your shoe protectant sprays or any other water-resistant films or additives that you might add to a leather jacket or your shoes. Another company, Stocorp, produces a paint inspired by the lotus leaf. The paint dries to form a similar microtexture to the lotus leaf. This paint is meant to be applied to buildings and can help keep them clean without the need for harsh chemicals or intense labor. And of course, you can see how, this would be a really attractive idea, especially to a building owner who maybe doesn't want to have to pay for that expensive maintenance of having their building scrubbed every day, or, all of the materials that it takes to clean that big of a building. Those chemicals, they come in giant barrels for a reason. Of course, there's a huge environmental impact with this as well, because in this particular case, with what Stocorp has come up with, it prevents the use of so many chemicals that would normally be used to break up the dirt and grime that builds up on, buildings and other outdoor structures. If we can use this paint instead to reduce the amount of cleaning that needs done, it can greatly reduce the amount of chemicals that we're using. And so you can clearly see that this technology will have a big impact on the sustainability of our future. The ability to keep surfaces clean without needing chemicals to remove dirt buildup will significantly improve our environmental impact. We will also be able to make previously fragile or porous materials water resistant by applying coatings and other products that replicate the lotus leaf microtexture, similar to what Nanotex has come up with. Today, we covered the self-cleaning properties of the lotus leaf and some of the applications for replicating this technology. The technology that can be gained from the lotus leaf will be a great asset in improving our environmental impact as we advance into the future. Thank you for listening.